Hi, I'm Jim Grouch, and I'm an engineer that specialises in mathematical modelling and simulation of complex processes and systems. And in this series, How Things Work, I'm taking an engineering and simulation analysis approach to the study of how society works. Is our society what we want it to be, and how could it be changed? After all, it is our society. And in this video, I want to discuss some of the concepts and elements of electrical or hydraulic flow distribution and show how that can be related to behaviour of individuals in society. And I will keep it simple. So first of all, electricity and fluids such as water flow through networks in a similar way. Voltage is like pressure, and conductors are like pipes. So let's start with some electrical or electronic components. And we'll discuss switches, resistors, capacitors, transistors, and diodes. Well, a switch is simple. It is an absolute behaviour modifier. You do this, you go to jail. Or, depending on the country that you're in, or even the era that you're living in a particular country, you may be executed. A resistor is a softer behavioural modifier. It reduces the number of people doing something, and the value of the resistor may be variable, such as a traffic fine. And it's simply a fact that if the fine is low, more people will either inadvertently exceed a speed limit, and some may decide on their own value system to take more of a chance. Okay, for those who have done anything with electronics as a hobby, you'll be familiar with the fact that resistors have a number of coloured stripes on them, and that these stripes indicate the level of resistance. But to be realistic, unless you've got very good eyesight, it's almost impossible to read this. And in practice, what you do is you use a multimeter and put the probes across the ends of the resistor, and you measure what the resistor is. And it's the same in society. If the government tells you they've put a big resistor in place and show it to you, and you can see all the stripes on it, and they're very proud, and they're telling you it's going to change some behaviour that is by a part of society that is acting against the good of the majority of the society, well, you might be very sceptical, and the practical approach is not to look at the resistor that they're showing you, and you would ignore the stripes on the side of it, and you would simply measure the effect of the resistor to decide if it really is a resistor, a suitable resistor, or in fact it's just a big conductor that's painted to look like a resistor. Okay, moving on. A capacitor. A capacitor is very interesting. It is a charge accumulator, a hidden upwelling of energy that can either be taken out. When I say hidden, it's hidden if you're not aware of it. And the capacitor can either be taking out the spikes in what is happening, maybe like the removal of people with unacceptable behaviour for modification and placing them in a jail, or a capacitor may explode when what is being hidden or accumulating is exposed, like after a TV documentary about the misuse of people and the lack of duty of care for people in a jail. A diode is a one-way flow regulator, and it may seem sometimes like the error investigation processes of some organisations are like diodes, where it's extremely difficult to have an error in billing or something unreasonable investigated. And it appears that the systems are designed, or the network is such, that there can only be a flow in one direction. The transistor is a device that only needs a small amount of input to release massive flow. And so the combination of a capacitor with a transistor can be like Enron. And the single journalist who said in one small article that maybe something was wrong could be the transistor that released the flow of knowledge and the realization of everything that had been done and accumulating within the Enron organization. So, circuit analysis or flow distribution is easily modeled mathematically. And for various settings of resistors, capacitors, and careful locations of switches and transistors, you can engineer an outcome. And therefore, we should not be surprised that this is being done. And if you're really clever, you can design a system to build up an unsustainable accumulation of potential destruction. And then in the design, you can include another profit generator that will spin up when the dam bursts. And then, of course, you can say sorry. So, we will have to consider rules, laws, the use of ridicule of individuals, and the hidden procedures and systems of our corporations and the workings of government in our model of how society works. And hopefully from this we will build a mathematical model that we can try different inputs, mechanisms, and values for the behavioral modifiers, or at least you may take away some ideas to improve your thought model of how society works, what is happening, and what you would like changed. So I hope you join me again for a few more of these videos. Thank you.